Or even says here in my notes, very secure and straightforward. We know we know what they're gonna do. We know what champions they like to pick, and they're just gonna execute on it consistently. They don't care if the enemy team knows. It's can you stop it?
And can you stop this team that is now currently 5-1? eStar sitting just above Invictus Gaming that played the most games in the league, and no one's stopping them at the moment. BLG need a win on the board desperately. They need to stop the momentum of eStar, but they also need to break their curse and see if finally, in 3 series, they can get their first win.
BLG Jayo.
I know, it's a bit lonely, isn't it? It's a bit sad.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to the Chinese casters, and they always come in with a bit of a, bit of a cheer, bit of a chant. We did have the phones. Did you see it on broadcast? We saw the fans coming through.
Yeah, I missed that. We had that week 1 was week 1 of the English broadcast return, so it would be week 3 for us.
Yeah, it's very confusing. And our week 1 was end of week 2, but technically we're in our 2nd week. That's just going to take us around a loop, so I apologize for that. All right, Summoner's Rift, eStar's BLG. Now, first thing I notice here is absolutely nothing. We've got some pretty standard runes. I'm sorry to take you down that path, but lethal tempo on the virus. I'm glad we're seeing the on-hit. We did see some experimentation back with lethality, back with Comet, but not the case here in Game 1.
Yeah, we do see Wei going for the Conquer Rek'Sai over something like a Hail of Blades, which is a lot more focused on like dueling and skirmishing with the enemy jungler. That is not Wei's style. Wei is going to look to gank mid and go bot, or even just gank bot.
Now, Lyric, where is he starting, though? Because towards the top side of the map, it's straight onto Krugs, while Meteor is down the bot in his red side. So, equivalent red side starts. There's not much he can do in this top side for now. As you see, Xiao Bai already has the push.
You do just see both junglers probably full clearing to their strong sides of the map. Again, you want to get King in ahead on this Renekton, and as Wei, you want to get your bot lane ahead. We do see an interesting thing about these teams. They're 2 of the slowest teams in LPL, 16th and 17th in average game time, but eStars are absolutely bloody. First in average kills, but BLG, slow as a snail.
We're expecting a slow-paced game, and that's why you look across the board. And for eStar, how well facilitated that is. And even for BLG, if Jin Zhao is able to path around these fights with facilitated solo lanes, there's a lot of potential for BLG to play that pace, but also outmatch eStar.
An interesting thing to keep an eye on for the side of eStars is Set was able to push into Kingan's tower, so he will get the bounce back. And Rek'Sai on red side has a really good time ganking top.
Yeah.
So our eStar is going to change it up, and maybe in another minute and a half, set up a gank onto Kingan.
Well, down the bottom side now for Wei. You can see Meteor goes towards his blue buff, but for now, a camp ahead is Wei and trying to position towards the bot side, but look at that cheeky ward over the Dragon Pit. That was set up nice and early by the bottom lane, Tahm Kench, I believe.
Yep, Shinmo getting that ward. They do know how eStars likes to play it. They know they're never safe in the bot lane when you're playing against eStar. Fofo pushing in Cryan is what we would expect. Cryan setting up this gank. We did talk, this is where eStars likes to look early on.
But Wei goes against it. Will be spotted out by the ward here once again onto Scuttle while the trade comes through. And in that time, Meteor has caught back up in his jungle. So the waiting for the gank doesn't work out here for eStar in the early game. And remember, folks, we're pathing towards a very slow late game, towards a slower early game if Wei can't get this off.
Yeah, but we do know eStars are still an extremely aggressive team. They're going to constantly look for ganks. Wei lives to serve his laners, and that's what you love as Wink or Cryan from your jungler.
Has been super consistent. I think the entrance into the split in week number 1, we had a little bit of talk about Wei, and it was like, well, he's actually a pretty good jungler. He's consistent. He's decent, like, in comparison to Meteor, who's fallen a little bit by the wayside with the rest of BLG. Wei has continued to pull this team up.
And I do want to talk, he was the jungler under Xiaolong Bao, who we see on RNG, so he was learning in a very good system a long time ago.
He came into the league with no name. I mean, shadowing a player like Xiaolong Bao, you're like, okay, well, he has to prove himself in the league. So for Wei, it has been a bit of a test, but one he's taken handling. Now, look at this roam. Wink and Xiaoxi to the mid lane. Let's get the shove up and help Cryan. That's some real boys.
Yeah, and this has been BLG knowing that they can't pressure at all around bot side, having to concede, giving eStars the freedom to look for this play. Isn't a typical eStars play, weren't able to find anything, but is always nice to see the proactivity from eStars.
Means Cryan also can just walk to lane with this teleport. However, Fofo can do the same, and Wink walks back to the bottom lane, doesn't miss too much in the ways of CS. And while we're having a chat there, you notice there's some aggressive trades up in the top lane. About 5 to 10 CS Xiaobai has been maintaining in lead of Kingen here in this first 5 minutes.
We did set up that Wei could possibly look for a gank for Xiaobai, but of course that is not how eStar play the game. Kingen, despite being in an awkward place with the lane near Xiaobai's tower, gets away scot-free. We do see him with the Ninja Tabby, will be strong going into further trades.
Should also be level 6 soon here on Kingen as well. Xiaobai the same, but around Dragon, Wei was trying to find Shinmo. Blast Cone just to get out of there, but with bot side dominance here for eStar, this is going to be the maybe potential start of the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, eStar can always look for this. We could see BLG contest. They do have Fofo roaming over. They're taking it quite slow.
Now, junglers are both level 5. Fofo is level 6. Jumps into the pit, tries to find the steal, but doesn't. I think Fofo almost committed seppuku. Ignite's going to go down. He walks away, but Cloud Dragon just taken by eStar.
Like, I really want to know what the call is from BLG for Fofo to be the one to jump in and try to steal this Drake.
Not even Meteor.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're dipping their toes in, do we want to fight? Do we not want to fight? This is a team that we've seen struggle with, we said, an identity and shot calling, and we're already seeing signs of it 6 minutes into this game.
I mean, especially that early game decision-making that when we saw the Maokai, when we saw the tankier picks, it wasn't working out, but Wei, Mr. Lyric, this could go bad or really well for eStars.
Does look like BLG's wave is in a really good spot. It will be hard for them to follow
there,
up,
the
but Cryan is following.
Jin Zhao, Cryan is level 6. Wei, not level 6 himself, comes in with a flash here. That's the knockup, but Jin Zhao's just out thanks to the Tahm Kench. Shinmo absorbing the damage. And even for eStar, not the cleanest play as BLG walk out with a couple of summoners burned.
The wave for eStar wasn't in the best place. It was very hard for their bot lane to follow up. We did talk about the security that Tahm Kench brings to Avaris, and BLG so far are doing a good job at kind of navigating this early game from eStar.
And if the bottom lane could survive, imagine what we talked about before, and especially with the attention from Cryan in the mid lane. Fofo is still farming up. He's not always matching these roams. He's getting the shove in. And this LeBlanc in a very decent position to start the game off.
Yeah, this is how we do typically see the matchup. Even though people think of Lissandra as a counter pick to LeBlanc, it really isn't. It's a lot more of a neutral lane. You do just do your job and kind of mitigate her assassination potential on you. You are able to follow her into the side lane. And obviously in skirmishes, you're much better since you have so much CC in your kit.
Well, Fofo so far really abusing the matchup now. He's used teleport to get to lane before, but in that skirmish down in the bottom lane, Cryan used his flash. So Fofo has the summoner advantage. Meteor is towards the bottom side and is red. And if you get past that vision line set up here by eStars in the early game, potential to go mid in a summonerless Lissandra could be big.
But we already see eStar are kind of posturing for the Rift Herald. Their bot lane did start moving up, but it does look like they're going to head them back down towards the bot side. I want to see BLG be the proactive one starting this Rift Herald when you do have a winning matchup in Renekton versus Set who can move first. Cryan doesn't have Flash. You should feel good forcing a skirmish on top side.
But for BLG, instead of going there first, I mean, it's to try and steal away of the blue buff. Level 6 on both junglers now. Smite for Smite. Meteor might be in a bit of trouble here. Wing's going to chase him up. Bit of damage on the way out. Blue buff will be secured. And it does go over to the mid lane. So that's all you want while Fofo says, I'm not getting involved. I'm going to hit this turret.
A small plus for BLG of being able to make Cryan lose some CS, but I don't think that's worth when you can be looking to set up a play on this top side. Earlier, we set up the narrative that we wanted to see BLG draft around their soul lanes. They've drafted around their soul lanes, but we don't see any proactive plays coming out of it.
It's a really, like, perplexing is the word LS would use quite a lot. And perplexing, I feel like, is used negatively. But I'll pause that, because we finally got a move here, Lyric. Domina's going to be popped in the top lane. Kingan's here. Ult stolen by Meteor. Really clean execution. And it finally comes through from BLG.
And this is what we've wanted to see from BLG. You have a top laner coming over from the LCK. He's a very strong mechanical player in lane, but I'm going to stop.
What's the response? Here's a knock-up after the ult onto Fofo, but the flash away is way takes turret, but he pops the ult anyway. Spins, but doesn't win. He doesn't get the last auto off as he walks away.
I'm almost positive he could have gotten that last auto off.
For sure.
eStar coming in with aggressive response in mid lane, a bit botched in execution, but both teams showing us what we want to see. eStar play around mid, bring that bot. BLG abuse your strong top laner.
Because at least you force Fofo out of the lane. That flash is now gone. The ability to re-gank here against Fofo. Meteor will catch the wave, and Cryin won't get that first turret plate in the mid lane. But there is some sort of a response, and Rift Herald wasn't taken for Meteor after the first flood.
Yeah, because of that mistake made from Fofo, Meteor does have to go back to mid and answer and pick up that CS.
Yep.
So we do kind of see individual mistakes setting apart the plan that BLG wants to move forward.
Well, we're going to have a quick look at the replay in the bottom left. But
just very simple, hitting that W from Lissandra, trying to chain it into a gank. We do see the ultimate here, and
he
just doesn't auto.
I feel like he thought he had it with the first Q.
Yeah.
And then started walking away. But yeah, really unfortunate there from Wei. It would have been a kill on the board to match Meteor.
We do see the Blade of the Ruined King Renekton coming out in this game that we talked about. It is a lot more focused on 1v1 dueling and kind of winning and snowballing the advantage you get from lane.
The melee champion from 8 to 12% now. And I'm just noting that's such a big spike. Maybe they can stop that spike here in the top lane, but I think Wei's been spotted out. Even Cryin moving up towards the top lane as well. Meteor not going to be challenging that King and playing safe.
Kingen, aware of the possibilities of eStar using their pressure from mid to make a play on top. As Kingen, you feel fine because of the state of the wave. It is pushing into you. You can just play back and wait for your opportunity to get pressure once again.
But Kingen's going to get a bit of a surprise here in the top lane. Lyric, it looks like Wink has finally made the move around. And eStar knew that BLG was starting this before, but due to the mid lane gank, Meteor pulled away. eStar, a couple of minutes later, they start this Herald. And they're the first ones here. There's no response as Ocean Dragon is available.
Yeah, it's really depressing to not see BLG play around their pressure better. I would have liked to see them get this Herald earlier, but still nice to see a decisive reaction coming out this time, just saying, hey, we're going to get some plates onto our Varus and take this Dragon. Will be interesting to see if Wei does use the Herald here.
Well, remember that for melee champions, that turret goes down so much quicker, and there's two of them with the Rift Herald as well. So even though Jin Jiao on the bottom side is starting to push this down, it's not going to be as quick as eStar.
This is something we haven't gotten to talk about today, where plates resistances have been nerfed.
Yep.
Turret plates now do give more gold.
Back to 160.
But the bulwark has been increased. So when you're doing a 2, 3, 4-man push, it is much harder now. So we saw the right play coming from eStars, getting 2 plates yourself, and then using that Rift Herald. 2 charges coming off. Great play coming out on the side of eStar.
However, Jin Jiao does still get 3 himself, so a bit of gold into the soul pocket of the 80 carry Varus, who should have Blade of the Ruined King or at least somewhere near close when he backs. And gold at the moment for BLG, 1,000 in their end. And yep, Blade of the Ruined King, first item picked up here, as I was going to say, across the rift, but there is a warhorse in front of me. Anyone who doesn't know, that is like essentially energy drink here in China.
I shared it earlier. It was really good.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. Got a lot of taste to it. Lyric, I do want to point out, Xiaobai has actually started Black Cleaver. So we're not seeing Blade of the Ruined King here against this team of BLG.
Yeah, Black Cleaver, the inefficiency of this item on set has been hammered numerous times. You are a champion that your primary play pattern comes from your true damage W. That is the spell you max when you go for this build. It is nice to get that sheen damage coming out of the Triforce. So overall, Xiaobai, not impressed. It is okay, though, when you do have more like lethality users on your team. But we don't see that on the side of eStar, so I would have liked the Triforce.
Or at least like the double 80 carry comp or something like that, right? Where you can actually get that armor shredding through it. But that's the first item. No matter what, we're Blade of the Ruined King now picked up here by Kingen, so that extra health he's going to be saying, thank you so much. It's one-on-one with 80 carry. Make it rain, but Jin Jiao is a Varus. You don't win that, especially not with his Blade of the Ruined King, as Meteor's going to go back on in. He's stolen the charm, and he's stolen Xiaobai. Shield is there. They disengage, but BLG really pushing the tempo.
Jin Zhao is not the sort of player you would expect to show up as the big carry on BLG. He's been one of the players we've been criticizing. BLG's bot lane is so weak in lane. He's mispositioning in teamfights, but when you funnel all this gold, we see 480 gold from plates onto Jin Zhao. He needs to step up, and him solo killing Wink is him coming up big.
The lane that BLG set up to be a bit weaker is a one-on-one, maybe 2v1 here. Meteor's in a bit of trouble, abscond out of there. Abyssal Void to join, and look, BLG is sandwiching. Kingen is over the wall, and eStar's go into him, but Dominus into 1v3. The burst damage from Jin Zhao. Crying's like, I don't want to take this fight anymore, and BLG know it. Jin Zhao heads forward with Shinmo, but as now the set comes in, I think that's a mistake, and Jin Zhao pays for it. Shinmo flashes away from the uppercut of the Rakan, and they trade 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
BLG using their mid pressure to take a turret top and then convert into a team fight where Fofo wasn't even there.
Yep.
And they still ended up getting a pick on the way. If you're BLG in this situation, you feel really good. 2 turrets and 1 kill coming out of that exchange.
The solo lane's pretty big, or at least one of the solo lanes pretty damn big. That Blade of the Ruined King made a big difference. Kingen level 11 with the Dominus too. So we'll have a quick look and see how this started. This is the one-on-one.
Yeah, just Jin Zhao Varus being a much superior AD carry in the 1v1 with that Blade of the Ruined King and his ultimate coming out. And here we see BLG using their pressure, all the burst damage coming out from Kingen, just the leading way. But as we said, Fofo's on the bot side of the map. Wink is now back in this fight, and it is a very easy turnaround on the side of eStar.
Yeah, Xiaobai coming in, he's like, okay, we need to get something, and it is a trade at the end of the day. A trade that does go to Wink, so now a bit of gold in both AD carries' back pocket, but Wink is a level down here. Not the same influence as Jin Zhao yet, but eStar see if they can try and funnel that a little bit more. They were looking for a play in the bottom lane just before, but eStar still channeling around this river, which they hold control with Vision.
Yeah, and going into this next Drake, if these teams do opt into a fight, we really want to see Cryan and Xiaoxi peel for Wink to get off his big bullet time. Xiaobai come in with that nice RKO in the back line.
Yeah.
And BLG, of course, you have a lot of like bruiser damage threats in Silas, in Renekton. You have an Assassin LeBlanc. It's all about flanks and getting on the back line. It's all about creating picks. So these are the two distinctions we want to look going forward.
And I think if we go back to eStar, like what we were talking about in draft was the ability for this team to layer. Like the set showstopper, the frozen or the glacial tomb here from Cryan. Frozen tomb. It's a frozen tomb. And Wink's ability to put down the bullet time after that. So for eStar, we haven't seen that full combo come into action yet. They were on the defensive in the last fight, excuse me. Running out of breath today. But in front of the Infernal, maybe we get that taste soon.
BLG, of course, just had pressure in the bot lane, so they are able to turn on this Drake first.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, see you later.
eStar did look like they want to contest, but they were a bit too late. After Kingen using his pressure to rotate, Shinmo ulting to mid.
Yeah, hey, better than walking, you know? Bit of a free teleport. But you can see BLG with this. Looks like they do want to leave Jin Zhao and Shinmo in the mid lane for now. And just note at the top of your screen, there is about a 3k ongoing gold lead here for BLG. They just picked up the Infernal. They're headed for an Infernal Rift, and you talked about the burst, the flank coming from this BLG comp. Well, with an Infernal Dragon, your ability to do that gets so much better.
I am absolutely terrified for Wink going forward in these teamfights when you just look at BLG's top side and how easy it is for them to get on top of you.
Yeah. Well, Wink is going to have to rely on Xiaoxi here, and Charm's going to be on all the damn time. He's got a BF sword in his inventory, by the way, so if he can burst them out before anyone gets near him, thumbs up. But we're a long way from that pickaxe in the inventory of Jin Zhao as well.
Yep, Jin Zhao just getting forward with his build, but one thing I want to look back to is remembering the first series of Cold's Tahm Kench. A good judge of a Tahm Kench player is how aggressively you're using these Abyssal Voyages, and that's what we want to see out of Shinmo to enable these side lane plays from BLG.
Especially in the LPL. Meteor, however, steals away the Frozen Tomb. Level 11 Silas as Xiaoxi trying to zone away as Riftel does go down to eStar, but they're zoned away. On top of Cryan, his own ult used against him now, purges himself into the ice as Meteor heals back up with the Kingslayer. You can't kill Silas, and apparently you can't kill BLG. Rift Herald, 15, 14, 13, 12. Count it down. That baby's gone.
Yeah, eStar just getting caught out of position. They weren't a unified team. We did talk about they need to play these team fights front to back. They did try to rush down this Herald, which gave BLG a very easy position to just jump on top of them and get a pick onto Cryan.
King now trying to do the same onto Wink. Heal, burnt, run away.
We did say you need to be terrified if you're Wink against this composition from BLG.
King right now exerting that pressure on top of the AD carry. He's level 13 to Wink's level 11. And Blade of the Ruined King with Phage available. So we're about to see that Black Cleaver, those 2 items on Renekton. That we didn't get a chance to talk about it. In 10.5, it feels like now these mid-game bruises are so much deadlier with the change in this one item.
Yeah, the 3 big ones it does affect are Renekton, Set, and Irelia. We have 2 of them this game. We had 1 earlier in the day. So those are the changes you want to look out for. It does make their laning phase quite a bit stronger, especially when playing with your jungler to set up these ganks.
I will say, I was thinking about Fiora early on, especially with the Ravenous Hydra healing change. She gets like an extra 4-6%. That's hype, man. I'm just saying.
This is LPL. We play for early game.
But Fiora. Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. And taking that into note, I mean, we saw an Irelia ban. It's changed here in 10.5.
We do have a Fiora player in this game in Kingen, so
Hey.
you can keep your fingers crossed.
See, never say die too early. And with the way BLG are going, I mean, do we get that much of a second game? Meteor going for the engage once again. Continuously, we've seen Meteor on Silas many times before. I want to point out to the audience's attention, he constantly takes the quickness from Rakan. He doesn't take the Frozen Tomb consistently, the bullet time, or even the Showstopper. It's always the Rakan ult that Meteor likes to take.
It's just very easy for Silas to get in there with his Abscond of Duct.
Hang on, Chains of Corruption there. Jinjiao gets burnt out a bit by Wink, but the damage onto Xiaoxi as Keegan sends the prize into the Dominus kill. Xiaoxi will flash over the wall, but that TP to die. Cryin immediately flashes over the wall, and eStar. Bit questionable here as Abyssal Voyage. Peekaboo! Fofo jumps forward, King in here as well. 4 members dangerously low. BLG not stopping as they run into Cryin again.
BLG are back to their week 1 form. This is exactly what we wanted to see from this team and what made me believe this was a contender for the championship in LPL.
Much cleaner decision-making, much cleaner on the calls here. And BLG with another one. Clean out the mid lane tier 1 turret. 5,000 gold ahead at 21 minutes, and they have their 3rd elemental up in 40.
And this leads us to the question marks we had about eStar that we got from the EDG series. If eStar aren't able to find some early aggressive action in the bot lane, do they know how to snowball this game and move forward?
Because in the previous series where bot didn't go well, I mean, talk about EDG. The 2-0 from EDG showed the weakness of eStar. And even in previous series, we've seen eStar really drop the ball. I think it was against individually against teams like Suning, FPX.
Suning game 2.
Yeah, where eStar looked a little bit clueless, and that's a team that has limited experience after their playstyle they've been running time and time again doesn't work out.
We did see Suning just constantly bring SOFM to the bot lane and counter a gank way,
Yep.
which did set up Suning for a very easy game going forward. So our eStar starting to be figured out. We will see it this Dragon.
Xiaoxi in position, 1,000 gold left for BLG. Xiaobai is looking for the flank. Chains of Corruption, though, as it is secured here by eStars, now turning for the fight. Kingen has the dominance and looking to go forward, but Fofo comes in with the burst, and Jinjiao shortly behind. Xiaoxi pops the quickness so damn late, and the fight's already done. Kingen is spinning like it's nobody's business. 9-1 now as BLG wipe eStars off the map.
That team fight coming out from BLG was beautiful. We saw King Jinjiao on the backline delivering amazing amounts of DPS. Kingen jumping in, putting out that threat onto Wink that we wanted to see, and just BLG finally playing as a unit.
It's a breath of fresh air, isn't it? It's been 3 series in a row where BLG have been sloppy as all hell. Now in front of the Baron, they're going to cement that gold lead. They're going to cement what looks to be game 1. And at this point for eStar to come back into this game looks like a miracle.
Yeah, we do need to see eStar to start being very creative in the ways they find picks. They do still have a lot of CC in their comp. They have the Lissandra, the Rek'Sai, the Rakan. So we want to see some creative either brush plays or you have double TP in your comp. But let's ignore that. Look at this fight.
Take me through this.
We do see eStar actually be the aggressor on this, but Wink's in the backline, separated from his team, just kind of left out to dry. Jinjiao is able to secure that kill, and then an easy cleanup on the side of BLG just moving forward as a 5-man unit.
Quincy's Rage Blade fully proc. Those 2 items from Jinjiao. And Wink now with 2 items of his own, but just doesn't have the same comp to work with. So many damage threats for eStars to worry about. And Fofo now in the side lane, 2 levels up over the top lane set. And you can see Xiaobai is just so nervous. He has hardly any MR to deal with this LeBlanc.
And Wink has always been one of the most pampered players just in the LPL.
Yep.
You have the whole team setting up for him to succeed in the late game team fights. He has the highest gold share out of 80 carries in the league. So seeing eStar kind of leave him out to dry in that last team fight is really surprising.
Remember where this guy came from. He came from Royal Club. Wink was like Uzi, where RNG said, we're going to funnel our resources into our 80 carry and the rest of the map can facilitate or die. And that's very much like eStar's, where Xiaobai doesn't get the attention. But this game, Krine seems to have. He just burns down Krine, and we're going in to the mid lane. Or at least let's call that the jungle. Meteor's caught out, shut down with a big death time.
And we see BLG trying to do too much on the map at one time and not on the same page. As Meteor was aggressively stealing Krugs from eStar, Jinzhao and Shinmo were hovering bot side for Kingen to take that tower. So their focus was much too spread. We see Meteor suffering from that.
And we're getting to the point where 25 minutes in, those death timers are getting longer as well. So mistakes like that can potentially bring eStars back into this game one. We need to see a little bit more of them. Fofo in the top lane. eStars are trying to aggress onto him, but to catch a LeBlanc out with the Baron wave, with double distort, hard as always.
Yep, and just on the side of BLG, you still feel like you're in a really comfortable position. You have 3 dragons. You're on salt point.
Fair enough.
Meteor using the quickness. It is probably about to time out, so, you know, fair game to him.
Yeah, but now ult's down still for a minute, so that's okay. Understandable anyway. Should have it for the next fight. Dragon in a minute 40. Baron expiring in 30 seconds. So BLG just looking to get the shove here and set up vision in that bottom side.
And the important thing to note is BLG did just get on the map first before eStar, so they will have push in their lanes. They will be able to set up vision first. We do see right now, since it is still a bit out, Meteor just farming Krugs, and eStar are going to use this opportunity to look to see if they can find a pick in the mid lane.
What does Xiaoxi do here? He has Flash. He doesn't have the quickness just yet. BLG is a 3-man unit walking in. Krine's there as well. Glacial Path. Here comes the quickness finally. The Flash, though, against the wall doesn't really do too much. Xiaoxi botches that one. And now Krine's caught out. He can't take the Glacial Path away. He used the Frozen Tomb on himself wide. Kingen gets pushed back into the enemy team. There's the Wombo from eStars, but it looks like it's a little bit too late. Wink by himself. They've abandoned their AD carry as he flashes away. Xiaoxi tries to save his life. And it looks like BLG, the flash from Meteor. Hello. As, yep, okay, Jinzhao.
Wait.
Not, yeah, he's dead, but now you got 4 people running into the enemy inhibitor.
Desperation coming out from eStar in that play. We did see BLG were able to peel off relatively safely, and eStar just overextended. Jinzhao gets out scot-free at first. Kingen gets a great TP in onto the backline, and we saw, despite hitting the perfect Wombo combo, eStar just don't have the damage being 10k gold behind.
They really don't. I mean, everything came through finally for the first time here in this game. And even though they were able to take Jinzhao, and to be fair for Wei, taking down the AD carry maybe stops more of a push here from BLG.
Yeah, and we do see Morello Namicons coming out from both mid laners.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Meteor, don't do this again. Steals away the showstopper. But this is Infernal Soul here for BLG, and eStars are starting it.
And Wei isn't here, but Jinzhao also isn't here on the side of BLG. I still believe BLG has enough damage coming out from their core 4 to win this fight.
Watch Meteor, though, out of the pit, but wants to go back on in. Can't get the Ibs to duck. Meanwhile, you're going to see Renekton caught out here. The snipe onto Wink, though, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. Golden is Shinmo, but Meteor's coming on in. Showstopper into the backline. Can he get the heal? The Ignite through, and he doesn't. Jinzhao now joins the fight and starting to tucker away at Xiaobai. Messy is all hell, but the extra damage here from BLG is too much, and Krine is dead. He just wants to find out how.
And BLG have super minions pushing the Nexus turrets right now.
Right into the mid lane. I mean, look at Wei. Wei doesn't even want to get back. It winks up in 10 seconds. eStar, what is your choice? What's going on? Wei? He wants to steal it.
Yeah, but he has no chance.
Well, at least Wink's going to be up in about a minute here. Fofo's searching for the Rek'Sai. He's going to find him. Chains of Corruptions to help out. And Fofo does eventually come back over the wall to burn him down. And there you go. There's the Infernal Soul for BLG. If this game one didn't look any more done, And I think now you can put it right into the book.
You have a 5-0-4 and a 3-1-4 Renekton with Infernal Soul against a very immobile comp coming out from eStar.
With 3 items. He just picked up Steric's Gauge as well. So he's a full item ahead of Xiaobai at this point.
We saw despite jumping solo into that last team fight, how long it took for eStar to take him down.
Yeah, and it looked like he used Dominus early too, or didn't even use it at all. So Kingan's just that tanky, so much of a threat. And he's using that. He's level 16, walking towards Xiaosi. He has to be respected as they look for this Baron to try and end the game here against eStar.
Fofo is a full item up on Cryan. He's completed Death Cap. BLG should just look to force this Baron and say, okay, eStar, we are winning 10,000 gold. Walk into us, see what happens.
Cryan has to be careful there too, but look at Meteor. Right into Xiaobai. They're looking for that pick first. They don't want to start the objective until they get that one player that could end the game.
Yeah. BLG deciding not to go for that Baron play despite having full control of the map. They are just going to get this free gold in the top lane, but...
Meteor, he face checks though, gets the quickness, double knock up CC forever until he does cross the Zonya's Cryan at a quarter health as Fofo jumps in onto Wing. Bullet time is stopped. Now Meteor joins the fray as Xiaobai does get a good ulti, but no one else is there. That's the pick they need. It's Baron or turret. Take your choice.
I do want to say eStar are looking for the only place available. We did talk about that push play earlier, but BLG have built up such a commanding lead, taking it the safe route, which should be expected from BLG, playing it slow, looking for a pick before starting up the Baron.
Wei can only sit there and try and get the steal once again. This time the objective that could try and change the game, but this one is dead, and I think he might be too as well. Goes for the all-in. Wei does have the ulti, but he's going against it this time around as Baron for BLG. They're running towards mid.
We saw one distortion do 40% of Wei's health at this point in the game.
That's a rabbit on Death Cap for you. Meteor has found himself Wing because I think the Lissandra ulti just timed out. I'm not sure how that works, but shall see the burned one first. Meteor still jumping in. Kingslayer almost available. He's burning, but he doesn't die. And Xiaosi will survive, but look at where Jin Jiao is.
eStar just don't have the damage. This game is all but over for BLG.
Yeah, well, put it right in the bin. Put it right down the bin because BLG, you have to say, better performance here all around. Better consistency through this game number 1. And with Baron, with a 30-second death timer on Wink, they're heading towards the Nexus.
Yeah, BLG can just play this slow, use up their Baron buff minions, whittle these turret down, and let eStar jump into you.
The last quickness does find 4 people here on Xiaosi, but the Infernal Burst finally coming through. BLG have already picked 2, and the ult from Wei delays the inevitable. Game 1 for BLG, a better performance here against the Giants in eStar Gaming.
Yeah, BLG just coming out really